My name is Carrie Henry. I am a student from Northern Arizona University, and I'm taking an intro to criminal justice class. And I have to make a YouTube video about a court case and talk about it. This is my first YouTube video ever, so this will be fun. Anyway, the court case that I chose was Brigham versus Stuart. It was argued in April 2006, April 24th, and it was decided May 22nd of the same year. So what happened was police responded to a loud party call at like 3 a.m. and the police arrived at the house and heard shouting inside. They come into the yard and they find two minors drinking beer. So that's already a no-no to begin with. And then the police entered the yard and they saw a disagreement between four adults and a juvenile through not only the screen door but through the windows. So the juvenile ends up punching one of the adults, which causes the adult to spit blood into the sink. One of the officers decides to open up the screen door and announce his or her presence of being there, and the adults and the juvenile, they were completely unaware. They didn't notice. So the officer enters into the kitchen and cries out, and the disagreement just subsides gradually, and they were arrested, and these people were charged with contributing to delinquency of a minor, amongst other things. The trial court granted motions to suppress evidence that was gathered and collected after the officers entered into the home, and that this was a warrantless entry, and this violated the Fourth Amendment, which means that you have to have a warrant to be able to search, whether it's someone's car or their house, anything like that. The Utah Court of Appeals affirmed it, they agreed, and the state Supreme Court held that the injury that was caused by the minor punching this person in the face was not serious enough to give emergency aid. Like, this person was not seriously injured or dying, unconscious, missing, because in that case there can be an exception to like overriding the Fourth Amendment, in the sense if there was something like that going on, then they don't need to have a warrant to barge in. Knocking on the door would have been pretty pointless, honestly, because, the cop already went into the house and announced the presence the first time, and no one even heard. So knocking on the door just wouldn't have helped, unless I don't even think if they broke the door down it would help. So the officers' entry, both of the officers' entries, or however many there were, seemed pretty reasonable enough. For all they know, that fight could have just been brewing. Maybe if they would have not barged in and they watched through the window or through the door a little longer, they could have seen if it got any worse. Maybe like talk to the kids outside, and then kind of be aware of what's going on. I think it could have been handled differently. They could have used better discretion. They could have really, instead of just making like a rash decision of just going inside this house, they could have observed more, thought about it a little more. So I think it was pretty rash, honestly. I think it was a good decision, that this case was a good decision, because I think it is when it comes to be necessary, if any extreme case, like if someone was missing, had a serious injury, or died, that way they could be able to come in. But at the same time, I think that when it comes to how it affects the community and the criminal justice system, it could be an abuse of power for the police, because they just can barge into people's homes at this point, thinking that somebody could be hurt or anything. And it all just, honestly, it just depends on if the discretion that they have. If they have good discretion, then it's fine. But if they don't, then they could be in some trouble. Kind of like what happened here. So, I think it could have been handled better. I think they could have used good discretion, but it could help that community, and it could hurt it, I guess, at the same time. Because, again, abuse of power, and if they don't use good discretion, then it could cause some issues, but that's just me. That's just how I feel about this. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Don't judge me too much.